and welcome to my channel, and welcome again to my series on the God universe. Today I am going to talk about how the earth, the sun and the moon were formed. In the previous chapter I talked about mapping the stars. That was the first of the three videos on this session. In this video I'm going to talk about how the earth, the sun and the moon were formed, and in the final video for this session I will explain why the planets, why we have the planets. As you can see, I've got more props. I've got more props still. I will explain their uses as time goes on. I still have a sore throat, and we still have building works going on next door, and they might be drilling and hammering and stuff, which means that I might have to, I'll see how that goes for this video. Let's get to it. So to start off, I want to take you back to chapter 3, where I talked about key consciousness. Not key consciousness. I talked about thinking consciousness and their key abilities. Do you remember? There is magneto combining with liquid aspect to make a black hole. Black hole is like a magnetic force that draws everything to it. Bomb dude gaseous aspect creates white hole. Just pause this. Heat man, solid aspect, molten lava. Electromagnetic forms quartz crystals. I just want to remind you, take you back to me talking about some significant thinking consciousnesses and their abilities. And we have the light lady combinations, and I'll just stop there for a minute. Okay? Now for the earth. In the core of the earth are two black holes put together back to back, and two white holes put perpendicular on the black holes. So I've got these cups to help me illustrate. They are clear see-through cups. If the cup with the purple arrows going towards it, that's the black hole, and the cups with the orange arrows going outwards is the white hole. So right in the middle of the earth are two black holes back to back, and two smaller white holes placed perpendicular on it. Now I'm going to use another demo for this, because in the middle, circulating the black holes and white holes is molten lava. So, right? And here I'm using orange slime. So there's molten lava entering the black holes and coming out of the white holes and circulating it that way. Let me just show you. So I mean, it's not a real white hole, so there's nothing going to shoot out, but I want to show. So I've actually had to place the cups in a different way, but it's basically molten lava. If this will come out today, going in, and I'm hoping this one comes out the side. So molten lava goes in to the black hole, Can you see it dripping down? Yeah. And at the same time, as it drips down, it also shoots out. I should have used a bigger bowl. Also shoots out of the white hole. It's coming out there, and it's also coming out of the white hole, right? I put some in there just to pretend it's shooting out. Right, this is messy. I can take this away now. I just wanted to show you that I just wanted to show you that there is molten lava that circulates the black hole, going into the black hole, shooting out of the white hole in a sort of figure 8. And the reason for this is because having two opposing forces like this is quite unstable. There is a lot of vibration and shaking, and the molten lava pretty much tries to hold it steady. Okay, so let me show you. Let's talk a little bit. Give me a pen. Let's talk a little bit about the forces that happens when you've placed two black holes back to back, and then with the two white holes, right? So the white holes has an outward force. And the black holes have an inward force. Can you see what that looks like now? And what you get with this is what you get is a circular outwards motion. The white hole is effectively acting as a pushing force, pushing the gravitational, the extent of the gravitational forces outwards. That's what that's doing. And basically the gravitational forces is the magnetic pull of two black holes. This is North Pole, and this is, and that's the South Pole. This force that we have here, this is gravity. Isn't that amazing? Right. Okay, let me just have a quick look at the time because I'm concerned about the camera. Right, so I said we've got two black holes and we have two white holes. There is a tectonic plate. This is paper, scrap paper, but I'm using it to illustrate a tectonic plate placed over the entrances, if you like, of the white holes. So I'm just going to put that in place like this. and hope it holds. So there's one ring of metal tectonic plate, and then there's another ring that crisscross over the hole. And what this does is it actually reduces the overall impact of the magnetic forces. So there's a magnetic force at the core, and its overall impact has been reduced. Right, so let's take this. Hang on. So this is also beginning to give its earth the circular motion. Right. So here we have another tectonic ring across the white holes and the black holes as well. Now, you will notice that actually there's two sets over the mouth of the black holes, two sets of ring there. That means it's reducing the magnetic forces even more. Right. The next thing is there is now a tectonic plate encasing all of this. I'm going to use paper. Right? There is now a tectonic plate holding all of this circular metal plate encasing the magnetic holes and the pushing out forces as well. Now, I wanted to do this in Play-Doh, but I really don't have Play-Doh this big, and I don't want Play-Doh this big. So what I've thought I'll do instead is to use those to start with the ball. Now, this ball represents the magnetic forces, the black hole and the white hole, with the tectonic rings over it and the metal plate over it. Further on from that, there are 15, I think. Let me have a look. I think there are 15 further tectonic plate encasing the black holes. 15. Each layer is 10% thinner as you go outwards to the surface of the earth. And there's something I missed as well. So I talked about we talked about the black holes and Heat Man and Magneto creating the black holes and the white holes, and then I've talked about the tectonic plate. But what I forgot to mention was that before I talked about that, I really should have started talking about Gaia, the light lady, and her powers and her abilities before I started making my earth. So let me just talk about this, and then we'll go back. Just as a reminder, remember the light lady, Gaia, consciousness G, when she cooks with the solid aspect, she makes a variation. Let's start from, there's quite a few she makes. She makes a variation of, I think that's the first one, right? Okay, so with the gaseous aspect, she makes individual gas molecules, which means that she breaks them down. from what they are to individual gas molecules, oxygen, nitrogen. With the liquid aspect, very attractive element, material. And I want to say here also, I want to point out here that in the God soup, the solid, liquid, and gas aspect are extremely attracted and attractive to each other. They are so binding which is one of the reasons why they appear homogeneous. There are very strong attractive forces between the liquid and the gas aspect, very drawn to each other, and the liquid, gas, and solid aspect. So what Gaia's done is broken out. It's changed some of the gaseous aspect such that they are not so attractive and attracted to each other. And it's the same with the liquid aspect. The liquid aspect is a type of plasma, very attractive, binds to anything. She converts that into another plasma, into another type of plasma, the one that's found, you will find that in the body, and then she also converts that to water. Now, water is not as attractive, drawn to the gaseous metal, to the gaseous part or the solid part. Now for the next one, right, I just want to talk about this because I think this is important. When Gaia, Light Lady, combines with, she also makes the molten lava with the solid aspect. So Heatman makes molten lava, Gaia makes molten lava. In fact, when the thinking consciousness combines with the solid aspect, they make molten lavas to various degrees. So Heatman makes the molten lava that you find in the sun. Gaia makes the molten lava that is in the core of the earth, which is not as hot as the one in the sun. Does that make sense? Again, with Gaia and the solid aspect, she makes tectonic rings and tectonic plates. So I'm talking about we're using tectonic plates over the magnetic forces, the black holes and the white holes. That was created by the Light Lady consciousness G, with the solid aspect. And then again, she also made the plant cells and leading on to plant seeds. Again, this is from the solid aspect of the God universe. So can you see, this is, I mean, we say Gaia is a lady, Mother Earth, but it's because it was her energy that created the different layers of the earth. Is there more? I think there's one more. And now I want to say she made with just different type of energy. Still Gaia with the solid aspect. She made silica, which is a kind of dense soil, and another, I labeled it silica type 1 and silica type 2. One of them is very dense and the other one is not so dense, and this is really the top crust of the earth, loose gravel if you like. Okay, so I wanted to just go back, create a reminder before I start talking about this, and let me stop for a minute here and then I'll restart the video. Okay, right, so I've just talked about Gaia's abilities, consciousness G's abilities, and then I was starting to build the earth, and I said we have two tectonic rings over the white holes and the black holes, and then we have metal plates. We have a metal plate covering the rings, and that's 2 layers. Above that, there is 15 further layers of tectonic rings, each of them 10% thinner than the next one above it, as you move outwards towards the core of the earth. I'm not going to do 15 layers of Play-Doh to show you the earth. Instead, this orange Play-Doh will be my 15th layer, right? And as you can see, hang on, that should have been over there. I can't even close the bowl properly. But you know what I'm trying to do. So this is the earth. Right now, this is the 15th, no, not the 15th layer. This will be the 17th layer, because there's 1, 2, and then 15, and that's 17th layer. Now the 18th layer is another 2 tectonic rings. And I'll represent, look, it didn't even cover. But I'll represent my tectonic rings with more Play-Doh here. So note, this is my North Pole and my South Pole, North Pole and South Pole. And this one across the white holes, if I can get it to reach. Right. So there are 2 tectonic rings. That's the 18th layer. The 19th layer is dense silica, right? I'm going to represent that by this yellow set of Play-Doh with these purple dots. And actually this dense silica, I'm not gonna fit it all around, because I want to be able to talk about this again later. This purple dot is actually pockets of gas. This is pockets of the gaseous aspects of the God universe, not the one that Gaia, not the one that has been treated by Gaia and therefore is now oxygen, nitrogen, methane, not that one. This is the raw universe gas, and they're encased in metal balls, and they've been dotted, they've been placed on the dense layer, silica type 1, and then on top of that now you have the top crust of the earth, right? I'm not going to put that around. I'm going to come back to this later, but I will be coming back to this, and there's a reason for all of this when we come to talk about the moon, which is why one of the reasons why I am not going to sort of mold it fully to it, and I really wanted to show you guys that. Okay, so is that it? If it is, we can stop now. Oh, let's move on to the planets. Oh, there's something I forgot to say actually. Before I move, I was going to talk about the planet, but before I move on to the planets, this top layer is sort of grainy desert sand, just desert sand all over. So desert sand and water all over the earth, but it's been sprinkled with seeds, with plant seeds, right? Oh, hang on, what? I had it on the other chart. I had when because Gaia makes plant seeds from the solid crystal aspect. So this top layer has got sprinkles of various plant seeds on it. Yeah, something I forgot to mention. And okay, now So I've talked about the Earth, and actually the other planets, the other 8 planets, were formed by Gaia, consciousness G, in the same manner, but they are of different densities and sizes, and there is a reason for that. That reason I describe in the next video, musical planets. And just like the Earth, they have magnetic cores and various layers of tectonic plate and gravel, but none of those planets are suitable for human habitation. You can't go and live on Mars. But you can go if you want to. It's bloody pointless. Okay. So I want to stop here and clear out the illustration demonstrations for the Earth, and then we'll bring the stuff for the Sun, and we'll talk about the Sun next. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, now for the Sun. I've sort of cleared up most of the Earth stuff because I want to talk a bit about the formation of the Sun now. The formation of the Sun is very similar to that of the Earth, in that there are 2 massive, gigantic black holes set back to back to each other, and two large white holes placed perpendicular on it. The Sun has got just 3 layers. Everything, those 3 layers are formed by the heat man and the solid aspects. I didn't write this down on the board, but if you remember, all the layers of the Earth is by the light lady and the solid aspect to varying degrees. All the layers of the Sun is heat man and the solid aspect to varying degree. Right, so we have a super massive, gigantic black hole, and similarly white holes, and so they do the same thing. They do the same thing as the North Pole and Black Hole. They also have, and because you have North Pole and Black Hole, they do the same thing. So they have North Pole and South Pole. But because you've got 2 opposing forces, a black hole and a white hole, you will also have the vibration and the unsteadiness with this structure. And so there is also molten lava. There's molten lava that circulates the Sun within the internal white holes and black holes of the Sun. And again, just like the Earth, there are, I was gonna say tectonic plates, but the tectonic plates in the Sun is the tectonic plates in the Sun is very different, and they're formed by the heat man. So again, the heat man forms, the first layer are 2 rings. Let me get these rings on. And like I said, like I said earlier, the Sun has got 3 layers. First layer are the metal rings. They're not tectonic, they're different type of metal that can withstand the temperature in the Sun. Those metal rings. The second layer is actually a ball of molten lava. Again by the heat man, right? And then the third layer is a thin, glassy material. And this is obviously, again, from the solid aspect, and this is something that has been sort of treated. It's been heated and cooled, and it's like a glassy layer, a thin glassy layer over the surface of the sun, and this material refracts and reflects light back into the sun to make it hotter, as if it wasn't hot enough, Jesus, to make it hotter. And it also reflects light out to the galaxy, to the rest of the galaxy. Okay, now the sun is massive, gigantic, and it needs, I mean, because of it's got massive black holes, but it needs to be the size it is because it's supporting the whole galaxy. It's lighting up all the stars. As I said, the previous video is light from the sun. That's what we see. It lights up all the stars, and it keeps all the planets in rotation. So Pluto has to be kept in orbit around the sun, and this is why the sun is the size it is. It needs to be big. It is big enough. It had to be big enough to support all the planets orbiting, and also to light up the stars in our galaxy. Now the problem with that is our brains, the human brain, is unstable in most of the plane, in all of the planes, I think. In all of the planes, the heat from the sun destabilizes the human brain. So the human brain doesn't function, cannot interact with each other in other planes. So the sun, a new very low frequency plane was created for our galaxy and for us, because at this low frequency, the brain and the sun can exist. And I say can exist, I mean the brain can function with the sun in place. And we've had to move it. Move it out to the third planet. See? I hope that makes sense. So the Earth plane, I've talked about planes. Planes are spaces of different sound frequency. So the Earth plane exists in the lowest sound frequency, and this is because the brain cannot function. The brain is destabilized in all other planes, right? I hope that makes sense. And so a lower plane, and it is currently the lowest sound frequency is the lowest sound frequency of space. This plane, this Earth plane, and therefore our galaxy exists in here, because in this plane we can function and we can interact with each other. Now, I have heard things like low vibration and low density, and that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist or make sense either, because you as consciousness, you are integrated into the body, and you're the outer consciousness. This low frequency that we reside in, that the Earth reside in, is simply so that it's simply so that we can function. And you cannot think yourself to a higher frequency. You cannot, it's impossible to be in a higher, in another dimension. It's impossible to think yourself into another dimension. We don't have that ability. We don't have the ability to do that. Because, like I said, if I can see you, you exist in the same space. You exist in the same space and therefore the same dimension as me. You cannot think yourself into a fourth, fifth, or sixth dimension. It's just impossible. These dimensions are only frequencies of sound in space. That's what they are. If you're here and you can see somebody else, that person exists in the same space as you. You're not. There isn't fifth dimension. Placing yourself in the fifth dimension somewhere. And there isn't getting yourself out of low vibration. There is nothing wrong with low vibration, just because the low vibration is just a low frequency. It's the nature of the space that we reside in. And we reside in this space because the brain can function, we can interact with each other. If in another space, in another dimension, in a higher frequency space, we couldn't exist very well because we would be obliterated by the sun. It's simple. It's simple mathematics. I've heard that somewhere. It's nonsense. I'm not saying it's simple mathematics. It's just a phrase I heard from someone. I think that's all I was trying to say. I just wanted to use the opportunity to explain that the reason why we are in the lowest frequency vibration is necessity, and that you cannot think yourself out of it. It's just impossible. When you look at my videos on the integration of consciousness to the human body, you light up this body. Most of our abilities is being stripped out. So your inner being can exist in multiple dimensions, but we can't. So, hey, sorry. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Oh, hang on, am I finishing this video? No. I'm not finishing this video now. I thought I'm finishing this video. No, I still have to do the moon. So I'm gonna clear up and bring the things for the moon out in play. This is a good one. Stay tuned. And now for the moon. Right, the moon has 6 black holes, all set back to back with each other. So they're perpendicular black holes. There is no white holes, so they're all drawing in forces. 6 black holes. And as with the sun and the earth, there is like this, there's a tectonic rings around the moon. The layers of the moon is formed by the light lady consciousness, Gaia. So Gaia formed the earth and the moon, and Heat Man formed the sun. I want to say that the moon has 3 layers. The first layer is like this, tectonic rings, similar to the earth, tectonic rings across all of the black holes. I just can't be bothered to start fitting more paper to this. So, but you get the gist now. 6 black holes set perpendicular together, back to back to each other. Tectonic rings across all of them. 2 tectonic rings across all of them, one that way and another one this way. Okay, the second layer is the solid crystal-like aspect of the God universe. Remember chapter 1 from the God soup, I said one of the aspects of the God universe, the solid, is crystal-like. So the second layer of the moon is that raw material. It's the same raw material crystal that I said were drawn to the black holes of the stars that make up the star. So it's the same thing. So the moon is is just being formed into a bigger plate, as opposed to gravels of this solid, gravels of this crystal-like material, but they are exactly the same. So the second layer of the moon is this raw crystal-like solid from the God universe, and the third layer is actually the same as, you remember when I made the earth earlier, and I said, oh look, I'm tearing this apart, and I said that the second layer of the earth, oh look at that, is this dense silica soil, right, from the light lady, the dense soil. But if in the earth it is peppered, it is impregnated with gas, with the raw gaseous aspect of the raw gaseous aspect of the God universe. That's what these purple things sort of represent when I talked about the earth. In the moon, it's this layer, but without these raw gas impregnation. It's just this silica type material over it. But this material for the moon, this material, and therefore my yellow Play-Doh material is for the moon. It's been heat treated by Gaia, of course. It's been heat treated and cooled to form a glassy surface. So the surface of the moon is silica, what I call silica type 2, that's been heat treated to form a glassy type material, which is both refractive and reflective. So it reflects light out, but it also bends light into the moon itself. So I want to have a look at the time. Oh, we've only got 5 minutes. Right. So in fact, that's the formation of the moon. But the thing is, the moon is both transparent and reflective. And what I mean by that is the second layer of the moon, which I said is the raw crystal-like aspect of the universe, the raw crystal-like aspect formed into the shape of the moon. That is transparent to the human eye, to the naked eye, to the human eye. So what we see every time we look at the moon is a reflective part and the shadow part. So we're either, if you're looking at full moon quarter moon, half moon, 3/4, and no moon, we're looking at variations of reflection and shadow, part reflection, part shadow, half reflection, half shadow, right through to, from full reflection right through to full shadow. So when we're looking at a full shadow of the moon, it's no moon at all. Now if you think about this transparent cups, if you shine a light, should I get one? Let me just get one quickly. Now if you look at one of these, just got one of these transparent cups, if you look at one of these transparent cups and you shine a light through it, or you imagine the sun moving throughout the day from one side to the other, at some point you're gonna have a full transparency where you see right through it. But even as a transparent object, it creates shadows, and that's what I was gonna say really. What we see with the moon is the moon and shadows. Now the next thing is the purpose of the moon. The main purpose of the moon is vegetation. Vegetation? Really? Yeah, vegetation. Water. Oh, actually I just realized something. I said something earlier that was an error. Let me just correct myself. I said that I said that okay, so Gaia forms so that we have plasma, which is the liquid aspect of the God universe, and Gaia forms plasma type, from the attractive plasma to the neutral plasma. And I said that water is a derivative of plasma. That's all correct. But I also said that water is not attracted to the solid or gaseous aspect of the God universe. So what it is water is not attracted to the gaseous aspect of the God universe. The forces are not that strong, but it still does have a good amount of attraction to the solid aspect. And this is why I said, oh, I remembered I made an error, I made a mistake, because now we have the purpose of the moon. The purpose of the moon is vegetation. Water is entrained in the surface. On the surface of the earth, right? Surface of the earth. So bring this. This is a inflatable earth. So water is entrained by the surface of the earth from the seas, right? And it's because it is attracted to the second layer of the moon. The second layer of the moon is the raw crystal-like aspect of the universe. Water has an attraction to that. So water is entrained in the atmosphere by the moon because the water is drawn up to the moon, right? The moon, as the earth spins about its axis, water is also attracted to silica. Where is my silica? Right, so water is also attracted to silica. Silica type 2, the gravel on the surface of the earth. So now you have entrained water. You have entrained water. In the atmosphere, the earth spinning, and there's attractive forces from gravel and sand and attractive forces from the moon. The earth is a bigger mass, and the attractive forces between silica type 2 and water is stronger than the attractive forces of the moon, and therefore the earth wins the race for water. The gravel wins the race for water. Oh, actually, I'm talking about this surface, aren't I? I should have used that. So this top layer, silica type 2, wins the battle for water. And as it spins around the earth, remember this top layer is impregnated with plant seeds, right? Water in the atmosphere goes on the sand, on the gravel. The earth spins about its axis, and the moon spins the earth about its axis as it goes round. So the moon spins the earth about its axis so that all the surfaces of the earth are exposed to the sun. You have plant seeds, sun, heat, light, vegetation. I thought, wow. The moon does spin the earth around its axis, and I'm going to explain how that works in a minute, but I just want to take a moment to just appreciate the geniusness of this design. You know, you've got a small ball that's spinning this round, and this ball is made of something that draws water out of the seas into the atmosphere. And as it spins round, the sand is exposed to the water. The sand has plant seeds already on it, strategically laid out, and you get vegetation. To me, that's amazing. Right, so I'm going to talk about the mechanism, but I think something I failed to mention is that there are 21 spins. So the moon spins the earth around its axis, and it's 21 spins per single moon rotation. The information anyway. Right, I want to set up for the illustration of how the moon spins itself around the sun. So just give me a moment, okay? Be right back. Okay, I've set up for my moon mechanism. I've got here my earth that I made earlier. I've got here I've got two globes, an inflatable one just because it didn't have this stand, and one that has a stand. And I've got this sort of red contraption, which is cardboard paper with red zigzag paper over it. I'll explain all of this shortly. Right. Obviously there is still the 6 black holes set back to back with each other. The one thing I didn't say earlier, which I should have said when I talked about this being formed, is this 6 black holes, they act act as they're very strong and very sturdy. It's like, imagine the Thing from Fantastic Four and the Incredible Hulk. Like, just, well, I'm actually moving myself, which is silly, but it's just strong and sturdy, not moving at all. This, having 6 black holes like that, gives a very strong, sturdy structure. Right, now let's go to, I want to take this is the Earth that I made when Gaia formed the Earth. I'm going to take this top layer off, because we've talked about it. This top layer has plant seeds and vegetation. So I can take this off now because I've talked about it, and my purple glass bubbles have just fallen off. Let me pick it up. I made 4. This is good. This is actually just 4 I need, right? Right, so, right. I said that there was this dense layer, silica 2, that has been gas canisters, just metal balls filled with gas, the natural gas of the natural gas from the God universe, you know, the soup, that particular gas filled in this metal ball. Now in here, metal ball full of glass, I've got a small moon here, and remember, the second layer of the moon is the solid aspect, like the raw crystal-like aspect of the God universe. And the one thing I said about it is they are very attracted, have a very attractive bond. So the gas inside these metal balls is very attractive to the silver to the crystal layer of the moon. Okay, and what happens is now you have let me stop. I want to stop and just catch where I am. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, so now you have the moon, 6 magnetic forces, right, holding still. And yet the moon is made of a substance. There's a substance that's contained within the moon that has an incredibly attractive force on the Earth. And so the moon, the crystal solid, which is the second layer, is attracted to the gaseous within the gaseous pockets. They are like pockets encased in metal balls. So the solid crystal transparent aspect, second layer of the moon, is attracted to these gas pockets on the Earth, and this is the second layer down of the Earth. So, and you then have the moon with 6 black holes within it, and what you have is like, it's someone trying to pull the Incredible Hulk or Thin, you know, it's like just, so the moon is moving like this, right, around the Earth, because it's keeping itself sturdy in space, but the attractive forces between these gas pockets is pulling the solid. So so the gas and the solid, very attracted to each other. It's pulling it, and therefore it's been pulled. So this gas pocket have been strategically placed just above the equator and just below the equator. So you see, this, my red contraption, is actually, did I press? Oh, it is recording. I suddenly thought, am I recording? Right, so this contraption, my red contraption, is actually the orbit of the moon around the earth. So the moon is going up and down and up and down and up and down because of this gas pocket in the second layer down of the earth. And as it's doing that, the moon is going around the earth, but at the same time, the moon has six black holes, right? I want to stop because I can't remember what that is. So what I was trying to say earlier is, okay, so now you have 6 black holes on here, and you have these pockets of gas on this layer, which is pulling the moon forwards, right? Okay, now the thing is, if you remember, beneath this layer, we have tectonic plates across the North Pole and tectonic plates across the equator as well. So you've got 6 magnetic, you've got 6 black holes, very strong, so they're pulling things to it. And what's happening is these tectonic plates are drawn to the black holes, right? So the tectonic plates are drawn to the black holes, but if you remember a concept I explained in one of my videos where I said, if you have a black hole and a white hole, and they move together in the same direction in a twisted motion, the impact is neutralized, right? That's a concept, that's a rule. So now you've got 6 black holes in all manner of pulling forces on the earth, right? And so tectonic plates drawn to this black hole, these ones drawn to this black hole, but because at the front of the black hole you have, this is by the equator, and the equator of the earth has got white holes there, you actually have, with the earth spinning, you actually have a neutralized impact. So the forces of the black hole and neutralizes the impact of this black hole is neutralized by the presence of the white holes on Earth, which means that now only this side of the Earth is being attracted to the moon, and this is now why you get a pulling motion. Can you see? So let's start that again. The moon has solid crystal particles, the moon is, second layer is made of the solid pure solid of the God universe, very attracted to the gas of the God universe. The earth has the second layer down pocket of the gas of those same gas particles dotted strategically around, above and below the equator, right? The equator has white holes. So here we have a sturdy structure, and because of the gas, this sturdy structure is losing the battle, moving forward around the earth, right? Then you have the tectonic plates of the earth also drawn to the magnetic black holes of the moon. And because you've got magnetic black holes, because there's tectonic plate top and bottom of the earth, the one downstream of the moon, so in front of the moon, the forces in front of the moon are neutralized because the equator has got white holes, which neutralizes the impact of the magnetic field, magnetic force of the moon. And therefore, this means that the earth now spins. This means that the earth now spins this way. And this is why the earth spins. Okay? I hope that was clear. I hope that was really clear. So, oh yeah, I didn't mention this. So at the point where the tectonic rings crosses by the equator there, the forces are so attractive that they lift off the surface of the earth. And this is why we kind of see a shift or a movement of those tectonic plates on the earth. So I would say, if you don't believe me, why don't you take a look at where the moon is when the plates are shifting, when there is movement on the plates? Yeah? Right, I think I've got oh, sorry, I should have mentioned also that because of this, because the forces are stronger here, this is also why the earth spins faster than the moon going round the earth. So they don't go at the same pace. Remember I said that the earth spins, there is 21 spins to a single moon rotation. At these points here and here, where the tectonic plates cross, the pulling action is a lot more, and it's like at those points it pulls that much faster, that much harder, and the earth spins that little bit more quicker to a single moon rotation. Now the thing is, the tectonic plates at the top of the earth is also attracted to the moon, which means that now the earth is tilted towards the moon. So the earth is tilted towards the path of the orbital path of the moon, and that's why we have the earth sort of in that motion like this. So this thing has a stand, and I couldn't get it to sit up so that you can see it properly, but this is the orbital motion of the moon. I think I was going to show one last thing quickly. right? So now, like I said that the moon's orbit is slightly above and slightly below. So I'm just gonna set this up now. See how much time I've got. I'm gonna set this up to correct for the tilt before I give you my final point. I was just trying to say that now with the earth tilted, because the tectonic plates at the north and the south are actually attracted to the direction of the moon's orbit, I've got down the floor. Oh no, you can't see it. Right. What else? Oh gosh, all I'm trying to say is that took a long time, and that the tectonic, and that the earth is tilted because the tectonic plates at the North Pole and South Pole are attracted to the moon themselves as well, and so they are tilted in the direction of the moon's orbit. This red thing is my moon's orbit. Finally, the final point I want to say in this is that obviously the moon's orbit, before I say that, the moon's orbit has gone from being tilted to now almost horizontal. But that's because the earth is tilted. Okay, finally, how did I say this? Okay. Finally, so landmass with large bodies of mass around it has very good vegetation, right? But only the lands in the moon's orbit have tropical rainforest. In my excitement, I got my words mixed up again. What I should have said is land surrounded by large bodies of water like ocean, lakes, sea and rivers have good vegetation naturally. However, only landmass in the moon's orbital path contains rainforest. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you find this as mind-blowing as I did, and that you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed making it. Look at all my little props that I've used for this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.